कृष्णपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद. Firstly, let me congratulate and also thank Girish Kulkarni ji and the entire team at the International Temple Convention for bringing this very important forum together and also for inviting ISKCON to be a part of this event. We are running a little out of time, so I'll try to keep my presentation brief. Now, over the last 2 days, many devotees, many speakers, they have been talking about what is the purpose of a temple. So, when this question was asked in 1973 to Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder and Acharya of ISKCON, he gave a very profound definition. He said, temple, of course, it's a devasthanam, where the Lord is personally residing, but it's also a place of education. We need to teach people who's God, who are you, what is your relationship with God, and how can you function in that relationship. So that is the true identity of a temple. Because we can have the externals, good security, good crowd management, good software, good technology, but until we get you the right approach to utilizing all this in service of God, Krishna, that real purpose isn't served. You can have a good car, a Mercedes, a BMW, but until it takes you from point A to point B, the purpose is not served. So with that in mind, we thought, what can we add here and help all the other temples as well? So ISKCON, as all of you may be aware, that is a global organization. So we have about 1,200 temples, over 200 goshalas, a wide range of philanthropic activities, and also about 53, 54 crore books have been published in 80 world languages. Bhagavad Gita, Ishopanishad, and so many other texts are being made accessible in Chinese, in Russian, in Thai, you name it, it's available. So with that in mind, we wanted to share what are the global trends we are observing in our temples around the world, and what are our mechanisms to cope with that changing trend, hopefully with the idea that all the other temples who are here today can benefit from that. So we are, broadly speaking, observing 6 major trends, and I'll try to go as much as possible in depth into each of it with the time that is available. The first is, we have been observing that there is a huge increase in tourism, religious tourism in India. Now, one of the main important aspects that has been happening in Kumbh, which has been not so much reported or highlighted, is the fact that, as per the Ministry of External Affairs, 22% rise in visa applications to India. There is a tremendous interest globally to get attracted to these kind of activities that are connected to Sanatana Dharma, yoga, meditation, kirtan. Now, kirtan is a very big thing in the world. Even 2 of the albums that our devotees had produced went up to being nominated at Grammy Awards. The famous Hollywood actor Will Smith's daughter is now producing kirtan albums with us. So the idea is that when these foreign tourists, foreign visitors, they come to our temples in India, how can we engage them? Because these are the expectations they come with, and this is what they are expecting in the local temple communities. This is the holy festival in Spanish folk, Utah. It's the largest holy festival outside of India. And 95% of the participants in this festival are actually Mormon Christians. So they are very much appreciative of these activities that we do, and there is a huge interest. And many of them, they actually ask us, where can we go and see this in India? So are our temples equipped in terms of festivals, in terms of the vernacular content, in terms of the availability of these kind of resources to engage them? With this opportunity, there are also some challenges. Now, many of these Western, African, East Asian people, they take up to Sanatana Dharma. They were interested, but we still have a challenge of helping them feel welcome in India, feel welcome in many of our temples. There are certain temples where they are still restricted. Even though they have undergone all the samskaras, they practice the Sanatana lifestyle, they are sattvic in nature in diet, they do their sadhana, but still they are not allowed. So I think Girish ji, maybe in the future this is something that we as a forum could discuss and see how we can facilitate that. And some of those who wish to stay in India and learn the philosophy, learn the traditions in a deeper way, there are issues of visas to help them stay longer. That's something, again, we need to work on. And the next major trend that we are seeing globally is the environmental awareness. All our Shastras, they speak about how we are worshipping all the parts of nature as components of the Supreme Lord. The rivers, Ganga Devi, Yamuna Devi. But at the same time, the people, when we preach this philosophy, they also expect that we imbibe that in our own practices, in our temples, in our community. So there is an important necessity. Even the United Nations is now recognizing that, and it's bringing in the faith leaders through different initiatives to engage with them and help promote the cause of environmentalism. These are nothing new. It has been a part of our tradition for centuries and millenniums. But now it's time to make our temples green once again. And some of the initiatives that ISKCON has been doing in this regard is we are also now going towards more and more eco-friendly materials within our temple. And plastics are being now removed, phased out, but there is a problem of ecosystem in terms of alternate resources, plates, glass. How do you produce this at scale, which are biodegradable and which are cost-effective? So that's something that this forum can also discuss and make resources available. And including, we are right now, as we speak, conducting energy audits in all of our 400 branches in India to see how we can make them more energy-friendly and reduce our carbon footprint in the atmosphere. So these are some examples of our new upcoming projects which are done in a very low carbon footprint way. So this is a temple in Salem that's under construction, being built fully from the granite which is available nearby. This is a photo of Govardhan Eco Village, which we have in Palghar district of Maharashtra. It's a UN awarded project for highlighting how eco-friendly religious tourism is possible without having much of a damage to the environment. So if you haven't visited, we also organize a lot of tours. We have students from Yale and other major universities who come and study this. So we welcome all of you. Please do come. We'll be happy to facilitate you and see how we have built a whole 100-acre community there using all the resources that are only available there. We have used compressed earth blocks. All the water that we produce as sewage is reused again in the garden using an indigenous biotechnology that we have built there. So I would invite you for that. But with all these things that are going on, we also have seen there are threats that have come up. We have seen Bangladesh has been in the news in the last few months. But apart from Bangladesh, even in other parts of the world, Australia, UK, US, there have been vandalism, there have been attacks on the temples. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much of a collective voice. Even at the world stage level, if you look at it, how many world leaders have actually come out and condemned this? Very few, if only one or two at the most. Why? Because the Hindu Sanatan Dharma Society isn't exercising its ability to the extent it can. Now, if you look at these 4 organizations, and I really appreciate what they do because they are meant to be doing what they're doing. ADF, Alliance for Defending Freedom, is a Christian multi-denominational organization which provides legal, free, pro bono legal assistance. They have 500 full-time staff, another 1,500 volunteers. Anything, anywhere you have a problem, you are a Christian, you just contact them, they assist you free. Similarly, World Evangelical Council, 600 million members, 143 chapters globally. They also have 3 special offices, New York, Geneva, and Bern in Germany. Why? They directly work and coordinate with UN and the UN agencies operating in those areas. Office of the Human Rights Commissioner, UNESCO. So what is the Hindu Sanatana Dharma equivalent of this? Do we have an office in New York that we can work with and bring up these issues on the world stage? We don't. So that's something, again, we need to develop and work on. Now, this is a very interesting chart. If you are able to see, this was commissioned by the Government of India in 2019 as a part of the time study of how Indians use this time in a day. And the orange or the yellowish are the Hindus, the blue, the Christians, green, the Muslims, and red, the Sikhs. So if you look at the age group of 18 to 30, the average time a Hindu spends on religious activity is anywhere between 3 to 9 minutes at the most. So that is a very serious issue, and you can just compare it with the other traditions. So how do you now respond and cater to such a crowd where the attention span is very low? Now, recent studies have indicated after COVID, the attention span of youths is less than a goldfish of 9 seconds. So that requires us to evolve and prepare our Sanatana content in a new way that is appreciable by them. So that's why ISKCON temples have been engaging in many different ways by building museums, using immersive technology. The photograph that you see at the bottom is from our new upcoming museum in Delhi, where we are using virtual reality and presenting the whole Mahabharata in a summarized way of 15 minutes. And similarly, we have even changed our social media strategy to engage the youth, the millennials, in a way that they are actually consuming content, podcasts, docudramas, events. So anyway, I'll skip this. I'm running out of time here. We have been doing youth festivals as well, again, to engage them and teach them our Sanatana culture in a way that they can appreciate by organizing tours to Tirupati, to Kedarnath, and in a peer association. And we also have come up with this new app, Transcend. So all the major literatures are now available in 11 Indian languages, and we are onboarding more languages. So 270,000 pages have been compiled. We also have audio books, and we have built our own AI models which are being trained on them. So you can even ask a question based on any text, and the AI will pull out the answer and give it to you. So these are some things that we have been working on. You can download it, available on Google App Store and Play Store. This is how we look at anyone who comes to our temple. This is a universal chart, I believe, for all the temples. You either have visitors who then become volunteers or sevaks after some time if they are regular. And if you properly cultivate them, they can become your congregation and support the temple, and eventually that's the committed workforce that you have for your temple. So we have programs for each of the level. When someone comes in as a visitor, how do we take care of them? We have some different programs, which I can't get into right now. And similarly, what about those who are not coming to you but are potential? So Hindu temples need to go out and start engaging with those who haven't been reached so far. So we have a tribal care initiative which goes into some of the most remotest part of India and helps the people, not only spiritually, but even physically, by organizing medical camps, providing free schools, by providing skill development centers. The photograph on the right is a subsect of the Santal tribe who still identify themselves as Sanatani. And they carry bow and arrow because Lord Ramchandra had stayed with them. And they are all vegetarian. So people are there who are looking for that spiritual knowledge. All we need to do is, at every temple level, go out and connect with whoever is available locally and engage them. Similarly, we have programs every Sunday going on in our temple for children. Once one parent came and asked me, Swamiji, मेरा बच्चे को कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है महाभारत, रामायण, भगवद गीता में, उसको कैसे इंटरेस्ट दिला सकते हैं? I said, आप खुद ही पढ़ते हैं क्या? बोले नहीं, तो उनको कैसे इंटरेस्ट आएगा? पहले आप पढ़िए. So parents need to start, and then when it comes to children, we have resources. So if the temples start organizing these kind of events at your local centers, you'll see a tremendous change. And similarly, for the adult education, we have study courses anywhere from 6 months all the way up to 2 years, where we go in depth into Shastras so that they become completely understandable of what is the scripture saying, why is it saying, what is the rituals behind it, what is the philosophy behind it. And then we come to this other aspect. Every temple has a tradition, has a music, has some sort of food items. So all of these, as per UNESCO, are also considered as intangible cultural heritage. Now, how are we preserving that? How are we passing that on from one generation to another? Is there a mechanism? Because let's look at the shakhas of the Veda. At one point of time, we had more than 1,000 shakhas available in Bharat Bhumi. Today, it has come down to few dozens. So all the temples need to make this effort to preserve their traditions, oral traditions, their knowledge traditions, and create content in a way that can transmit these traditions to the next generation as well. So ISKCON in its own efforts has been doing this. So we come in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya of Sanatana. So what we have done is we started off with a center in Calcutta called as the Bhaktivedanta Research Center. But now it has branched out into many more centers, and we have been preserving the manuscripts, digitizing them, engaging scholars, making them accessible. So now we have made it accessible not only for our Sampradaya, but for everyone. So if you have manuscripts at your temple which you want to preserve, please let us know. We'll come at our own cost, preserve it, digitize it, and give it back to you. So that's a small service from ISKCON for the Sanatana Dharma. And similarly, we have academies for teaching how to do the Naivedyam, how to do the Archana for children, for adults, and how to learn the music tradition. So these are all academies that we have available. And if you want, please let us know. We'll be happy to help. So I'm already way over time. I'll end with this. Thank you all very much. If you want to stay in touch, please scan this QR code, and I'll be happy to help you in any way we can. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.